Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Nexus podcast with your four glamorous and favorite hosts.
Yay.
We are back after exams, after a very tough period, and we are ready to deliver you guys a fresh new wave of content. Today, we thought of doing something relaxing since all of us are very, very tired after exams. We are going to be discussing our favorite legally themed shows and movies. We have all selected a different one. We will all be sharing our thoughts, including the characters, the plot, maybe even the accuracy of the legal aspect, and then we will be opening up the floor to discussing them. Do we start from here, or does Darren want to start?
No.
Let's start with Darren. I mean, we always start with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, I don't have my laptop.
That's okay.
I watched Judgment at Nuremberg. So this is for all the people who are watching. This is like a great movie if you want to just sit at home, like on a cold winter's night. You know, you just want to you know those like black and white spy movies. It gives that vibe. So it's like a very like get a glass of wine, get a glass of whiskey, and just sit down and watch that. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes, I think, so it's quite long.
Oh wow.
It's about it's actually quite interesting because it was filmed in 1961, and for the first time, I think since we all know about the Nuremberg trials and how the Nazi individuals were tried. It actually tries to bring this notion of being the devil's advocate in history, I think. This is the first time where, I mean, academically, of course, they aren't doing anything, but they're trying to explain that Nazi generals and people of the government or whoever contributed in the Nazi system were actually humans as well, and that they have their own side of the story. And I think it's quite interesting that an American film producer did this in the 60s when all the scars were so fresh. Well, there is this guy called Maximilian Schell. He is the advocate for the Nazis. And through his speeches, like he gives such good speeches about like how it's actually the world that enabled Hitler to put these pivots on Germany. So he makes an amazing speech near the end of the film where the indictment is read, but he says something like, "Why aren't we judging Stalin for letting Hitler rape Poland? Why are we not letting Churchill? Why isn't Mr. Churchill in this courtroom today for saying in 1938 that he could what did he say? He said something around the lines of, if I'm the great man of Britain, Hitler is the great man of Germany. Why isn't Mr. Churchill in this room? Why isn't the American businessman who supplied oil and plastic and all these monetary funds to the Germans in this room today?" And then honestly, as liberal and as a leftist, I mean not liberal, as leftist as I am, I found sense in what he said. Because these people didn't just come out of the blue. But then on the other hand, the viewer of the movie is kind of confronted with the ethical part of the fact that these people were desensitized from being evil to a point where I think there's this very simple scene where the people are sitting in the lunchroom of the prison. So like the German the people are being prosecuted, the Germans, and so there's a table of judges, and on the which are the Nazi judges that are being tried, and then behind the table there's the table for generals and like political heads. So like they're sitting on different tables, and the judges, they're saying, like, because they never knew that the people they indicted death sentences upon ended up in the concentration camps. They just thought they were hung or shot, so they didn't deal with that part. And one of the judges was like, because I don't know if you guys know, during the Nuremberg trials, they show like a extensive 30-minute movie of like recordings from the liberated camps to all the people in the courtroom. And the judges, one of the judges says in a very stupid German accent, "I never knew that they ended up in the concentration camps. And then he turns to his friend like, Richard, did you know about this? And then they're like, no, I thought they just got shot at the moment, stuff like that. And then the judge turns behind to, as if he's talking to like a schoolmate, to Hus, I think, or one of the commanders of the concentration camp, and says, is that what you really did to the Jews and the Poles that we sent off to death? And then the guy, this is so creepy, he says, are you talking about how we managed it, or if we really did it? Because managing is the simple part. The guy goes, the managing is the simple part. And then the judge goes, how do you kill so many people? And then he says, well, think of a room that can fit up to 2,000 people, and you tell these 2,000 people they're going to shower, and then you can do the math the rest of yourself, and then they continue eating and no one talks. I just think it's a very heavy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very well done in terms of legal terms. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one to judge for this because I'm a first year student, but I think there was no the whole showing off of legal terms that you see in like cinema. But yeah, I think it was a great movie in that sense. And you do feel sympathy. I mean, when we learned in the last block about the Nuremberg trials, I even started thinking, hey, I think history is being taught to us from a very biased perspective, because at the start of the movie, the guy who arranged accommodation for all the judges and everything, again, a very simple line, says something like, Hitler committed suicide, Goering is dead, blah, 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 blah. Now it's time to judge the ordinary folk who actually ran this death machine. And I was like, that is so true. Because at the end of the day, all these people were just simple people. They were just doing their daily jobs and under a stigma of fascism. So yeah, amazing movie, guys. If you really want that, ethical conversation with yourself about history, about how we are taught contemporary modern history, 20th century history, and how like this US centered history developed in our courses, I think it's a great movie to watch. You really do sympathize with people you would never think you would ever sympathize with. So
I think that's very on theme, because something that I've experienced as a law student is that you really start to see exactly what you're saying right now. You really start to realize that in some cases, like, there's no right or wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that that's the case in this movie, obviously, but you learn quite quickly that nothing's black and white.
yeah,
And that everyone's a human. And when you see someone that commits atrocious crimes, a lot of people will say, throw them in jail forever, like they don't deserve any, like just get them out of here, whatever. And then as a law student, you start to kind of feel like the devil's advocate when you go like, oh, well, he deserves a fair trial, like he deserves human rights, blah blah blah. Like you feel, but I think if you can watch that movie and end at that conclusion, I think you can study law. But if you watch that movie,
pre-request you watch Judgment at Nuremberg.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you can like think about those things while you watch that movie, I think you're prepared to study law. I just think that that's a moral thing that not a lot of people are ready to face. Like it's quite heavy. So
I think that this movie also shows what you were saying about law students, that now for people who don't study law, it's very hard to look at people who committed such atrocious crimes and think that after all of that, they still have like the right to a fair trial, prohibition of arbitrary detention, that they still have to go, you still have to go through that lengthy process despite all the things that they did against human rights. And obviously this is an important movie for specifically international law, because when we discussed it,
it's an amazing
the
movie.
Nuremberg trials and also their equivalent from across the world, the Tokyo trials, set a big precedent for international criminal courts. So really, when you think about it, the Nuremberg trials and that court was the very, very big precedent of courts like the ICC, for example.
I just have a question. Like, is every character in the movie based off a real figure?
I think so.
Is it? And is it in German or English?
No, it's in English.
Okay.
But the casting is amazing for the time. They somehow managed Marlene Dietrich to play as well. Like, really good. one thing that I really liked being able to understand as a law student now is when they were weighing the foreseeability of impartiality of the judgments that they gave under the Third Reich. The judges asked, like, were you aware that? So the judges, the Allied judges, they were asking the German judges on trial, were you aware that you were no longer following law, but you were following analytical processed, politicized law? And of course, the German judges go, no, like, we thought we were just obeying the German laws and the Nuremberg race laws, blah blah blah. And then the chief judge of the Allied tribunal stands up and says, were you not aware that in 1942 an insignia was asked by the Führer to be patched up onto all of your robes of the party regime? So like in 1942, and then I searched up, this is true. In 1942, German judges are asked to get rid of their Prussian black robes. And they're not asked to get rid of them, but they have to stitch an insignia onto the party insignia of the onto their robes to show that they're not serving justice, but they're serving the Reich, the Nazi regime. And then I thought, okay, that proves guilt, that proves foreseeability in the fact that to prove that they knew what they were doing was politicization of legal statutes. And interesting enough, just to add on to that, they called this, do you guys remember in legal history where one of the emperors tried to bound all the judges under him by giving this decree? England has something similar as well, still. Like the King's Court, what do you call them? King's Judges or something like that.
I don't know, because I took legal history very, very long ago, and it wasn't my strong suit.
It's not that long ago. It's a year ago. Come on.
It was not my strong suit.
2 years ago.
Well, basically, Hitler did the same thing following like Roman dictator emperors. He gave out this this certificate to lawyers to say that they are the mouth of the German government to kind of take out all the people, all the judges who were not wanting to, willing to, I don't know, stitch this insignia on their robes or whatever. So I found that really interesting. Go watch it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that movie analysis is going to be different from everyone else here because, at least
Yeah.
I'm going to stay away from spoilers. Like, obviously, you can tell the whole plot because it's already happened.
Yeah,
Like, it's
already happened, guys.
I'm not going to do that. But, like, really good. I want to watch that now. But
Yeah,
3
so do
hours?
I.
I love it.
3
3
hours?
hours is crazy.
I mean, come on, Brutalist is 4 hours, no? Do you guys
I
know?
haven't seen
I've
that.
not
I
watched
don't
anything more
wanna
than
see
3
it.
hours. No, but
I
like
struggle watching a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
very short attention span, so 3
Same.
hours.
But honestly, if you're doing legal history, I feel like this is a very good movie to watch
It's
for
amazing,
context.
yeah.
It like explains the precedents of international law, criminal responsibility for individuals, basically. Just remember.
You're slaying right now.
Okay,
I love that I was academic for one episode.
But that's good. That's good. We delivered it. That's good that you delivered the academic aspect. I feel
Yeah,
like now
because
we're getting slightly
next,
less
I don't
academic
know.
now. Okay, but on that note, do you want to move on to yours?
No, we will be talking about a very academic movie called Legally Blonde. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. No, but I'll just give a very brief summary of it because I'm sure everyone, at least in law school, has watched it at least once. So it's about this sorority girl. Have you not?
No.
Have you not? Obviously.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
No.
Apologies.
No.
Apologies.
We literally discussed that she would want to do this.
My bad. Okay, well, Shmeg, this explanation.
Schmeck, how dare you?
How dare you?
I'm sorry,
no
guys.
spoilers then, because
Like spoiler?
I'm gonna watch it this weekend,
Okay,
guys.
You
no.
should.
Let's watch it all together.
Shmeg, take this with a grain of salt. Don't remember what I'm about to say because
don't
I want
spoil anyway.
It's hard to not
I
spoil.
love spoilers
Okay, I'll
for
just give a
movies
gist.
and
I'll just give a
shows.
gist.
Oh, I don't know. Look, he doesn't care.
I
you don't
love spoilers.
Oh,
But
okay.
what about other people that haven't watched it? They're gonna watch.
I mean,
this
guys,
podcast?
come on.
Come
Who
on,
doesn't
you're in law
want, like,
school.
come on, like, who doesn't
Okay,
want
try to
to
avoid major spoilers. A minor spoiler isn't gonna
Okay.
make or break someone's movie
So-
experience.
Basically, it's about this girl, a sorority queen. Her name's Elle Woods, and she has a boyfriend who broke up with her, dumped her because he wanted something more serious with a girl that is more serious because he is going to Harvard Law, and she felt as if like she had to prove him wrong, so she got into law school, and basically the whole idea of the movie is that she discovers that there is more to her than just her looks. That's all I'm gonna say without spoiling anything. But yeah, I think people sometimes like kind of forget to understand the principle of the movie. It's not about this dumb blonde girl who's just like ha ha hee hee hoo hoo ha ha ha. She got into Harvard Law,
Which is hard.
which
Girl,
is hard.
she did that for a man.
She
like-
did that for a man, and I'm trying so hard to not spoil right now. Can I just spoil one thing?
Yeah, just he said
Okay.
he doesn't mind spoilers.
Okay, well, she
If
got
it's-
in with her LSAT, with all her, stats and all that. Whereas the boyfriend that dumped her was waitlisted, and she discovered that later. So obviously, like,
So she's smarter than
And
us,
he
basically.
I think he
Exactly.
was legacy as well. I think.
yeah, he was like
For
his-
Harvard,
her
and
brother.
he still
his
got
brother-
waitlisted,
Yep,
and
yep,
she got in.
yep. She ended up, being successful, like,
Very nice.
and all that. Well, successful is very, to an extent, she got internships and stuff in comparison to her ex-boyfriend who did not. And then there was this one character that I actually like. This is a hot take. What's her name? Hold on. hold on.
So you like her that much, huh?
I love her so much. I forgot her name. Brooke. Remember
Oh,
Brooke?
yeah.
She was basically, it was like an enemies to best friends kind of trope with their friendship.
Yeah, they were. It's like the Devil Wears Prada.
Prada, yeah.
Dynamic.
Yeah,
know?
sort of. Have you watched that?
No.
Okay.
Guys,
What
I'm
is
not
it?
guys, I'm
What
not
is-
guys, I'm not a movie person, I'm a show
No, but
person.
this is
Schmeck-
not about being a movie person.
Schmeck, I'm
not
gonna
a movie
say
person
something a
either
little
too
bit
much.
controversial. I think you're too straight. Because what's going on here?
I don't know.
We need to sprinkle.
You
pink
said
in
what we
that,
all needed
like-
to say.
I don't guys.
you.
We were all
Yeah.
thinking.
Schmeck, come on.
I watch
sorry,
shows.
But you
not
know about
movies,
it, right?
Not
Devil's
movies.
Wear
Yes,
Prada.
yes, of
You
course I know about it.
Okay.
Or
Well,
maybe I did.
Everybody wants this. Man.
everybody wants this. Come on.
Maybe I watched it in Polish. I don't know.
What Devil Wears Prada?
Yes,
Mm,
Okay.
title's a bit
Meryl
different,
Streep?
but
Meryl Streep,
Meryl Streep.
main character.
is it the one about the fashion? The,
Yes.
Florals for spring. Groundbreaking.
Again, if I watched it in Polish, I'm not gonna know that quote. Maybe I watched it, maybe I didn't. I watched a lot of movies with my parents, and then I don't remember them.
Oh my
enough.
god, I want to watch Devil Wears
The
Prada.
Prada, me too.
again.
For the 100th time,
we need to
I'm
do
down.
a movie night. We need to do a movie
Literally.
night.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay, and also one of my favorite scenes was one of the last scenes in the courtroom where she. I was gonna
Just
swear.
say it. I don't think it matters. He will forget it.
You will forget about it. You
probably.
will.
You guys have
forget.
so many
You
other
will forget.
worries.
No, no,
Exactly,
fair.
so-
You will
Okay.
forget.
You will
will
forget.
forget.
I will.
You will forget. Okay. There was this one scene at the end where she ended up, long story short, representing the client that was previously represented by one of the Harvard professor, which Elle worked for. He was an asshole. I can say that, right? I can say that, right? Yeah, he was an asshole, and she ended up representing this client. And then I think her argument slayed. There were really barely any legal grounds, to be honest, but
that's what makes
it.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes her. It's all very fashion related, fashion, blah blah blah. And the argument of, oh, he's gay. Oh, I love that.
Your Honor,
He's gay. You should watch it because you don't understand the context, but please watch
We're
it.
gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it.
no straight man would know which
no.
season that is from.
No, the minute that I saw his shirt, I knew it. I knew it.
Like-
He's definitely gay. He's definitely gay, and he did turn out to be gay. And so yeah, and she won the case. So yeah,
Very nice.
she
Sounds like
graduated to
Yeah.
become, what was it, like the elected speaker of her
Oh, yeah,
class or
true,
something.
yeah.
Valedictorian.
Valedictorian, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, happy
valedictorian.
ending.
Yeah, it's a really good movie for. I mean, I wouldn't say for law students,
No, it's
but
very.
I would say
not.
it's
For
a,
everyone.
It's a good movie for like women and girls.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
because like you said, if you watch that movie and what you take away from it is that she's just a dumb blonde who's like,
Yeah.
then like, okay, you hate women.
Mhm.
there's so many specific scenes in this movie that are so good. I've watched it so many times. It's amazing. But one of my favorite ones is when Elle goes to like a law school party. And there are many things about this party that are
Was
upsetting.
it when she was wearing the bunny costume?
Yeah, that's something else about that scene,
Oh
but
my
that's not what
God,
I'm going
yes,
to talk
that
about.
was-
What I'm going to talk about is she goes up to her then now ex at this
Yeah,
party because
yeah.
he broke up with her before she went to law
That's
school. And then he kind of insinuates that she's not smart enough to be there.
He explicitly states that.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
says something, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then she just steps back and goes, Warner, am I on glue or did we not get into the same law school?
Harvard Law. What? Like it's hard. Come on. Like honestly,
That's also from that movie.
the lines are
Yeah.
very iconic. So
Yeah.
if you've not watched it, you've definitely heard some of the lines.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
like-
amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. I think obviously it's
It's
not
a good
an
laugh.
yeah,
as
it's a good
well.
laugh. Obviously it's not
So
like
it's like
an-
entertainment value, not academic
Yeah,
value.
it's not very different to
I would
No,
say it actually has some value because I saw a lawyer from the US, obviously. That's also to be said that like law school here and law school in the
It's
US
very
are different.
different,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I saw a lawyer from the US like analyze this movie. Not the whole thing, obviously, but like just like scenes from it.
parts.
And he said that a lot of the scenes about like the LSAT, about studying, about like what it's like to be a 1L in the US and stuff like that are pretty
Accurate.
realistic.
Really?
Pretty accurate,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I like the social message it has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And also, one thing that I find interesting is because the last time, before last night, that I watched this movie was like years ago, like before I even considered doing law. And then watching it again last night, I was like, okay, I know some of these jargons, like mens rea. Come on, like,
Oh.
no, but like, come on.
Criminal,
come on now.
criminal already.
Come on
coming
now,
out.
mens
Here
rea.
we go.
The amount of time they've mentioned mens rea, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. This makes sense.
You know,
You know you're getting somewhere in the
We're
degree
getting
if you
somewhere.
know legal movies.
I know Legally Blonde heart by heart. You know.
I felt
But
like
yeah.
those, you know, when they put surgeons, like when they put doctors and surgeons like on YouTube videos and they
Oh
make
my
them watch,
god.
like I don't know, like hospital dramas and everything. I felt that while watching that movie. I was like, okay, you know what? I think I can dissect this. Like I'm understanding this. So it's a
Yeah.
great feeling.
So you know we're
It
getting
is.
to be professionals, guys.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna watch that movie. No. I'm gonna.
There's also Legally Blonde 2, 3, which I've not watched and I refuse to.
I haven't watched
I
those
have-
either.
I haven't.
Because
I
apparently it's
watched two.
horrible.
No, I watched
Is it
two.
good?
Two wasn't bad.
We're
Two
gonna
was-
see- we're gonna see the
two was like
reviews right now.
Two was like a stretching of one. I didn't watch three.
Is it
though.
also with Reese?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Okay, as long as it's
With
still the
her.
same people. I
Yeah.
feel like same
Yeah.
thing with Mamma Mia. As long as they
Yeah.
can keep
Oh
the
my
original
god,
cast.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Like two.
Mia.
Did you guys like Mamma Mia too?
Yes, I
Don't
did.
remember watching it.
I cried.
Oh.
Oh.
So good.
Okay.
Love
Well. Okay. Legally Blonde. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna see the reviews. If they're bad, then there's no.
No,
point.
don't
Listen,
look at the.
Listen, I'm not saying that Mamma Mia 2 is perfect. There's definitely flaws.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Okay. No. True.
But-
Listen, you know these type of movies will never get like a high rating.
No. But Legally Blonde one like has good ratings, like 78, which is good. But then
Yeah.
Legally Blonde 2 has 38. So.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh.
And Legally Blonde 3 is called. Not even called. There's Legally Blondes as well.
Are you
Multiple.
This is what happens when American corporations
British
Tell
twin
'em, tell 'em.
sisters.
when American corporations want to actually make money out of the movie rather than give a message. This is what happens.
And Legally Blonde 3.
PG rated?
Wait, what? Oh, this
You know
is
there's-
coming out this year.
What?
is?
Yeah.
Legally Blonde 3 is coming out this
Oh,
year.
it didn't come.
Oh,
Is it with Reese too?
Yes, it is with Reese too.
Alright, I'll watch it. I guess.
I guess we're
I guess.
yeah.
we'll watch it
guys we're
together.
going to the movies.
Yeah.
By the way,
Next
interesting
podcast goes
enough,
to the movies.
for Legally Blonde, there's a musical.
Oh yeah, I know.
really?
It's on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've really wanted to watch that. Yeah.
I don't know if they
have.
have a recording, but I'd watch it. I think.
Hey, it's
watch
probably
it.
somewhere.
We can
Yeah,
find
we
it.
Just gotta look.
Okay. Well,
Murray, I think.
Murray.
Some
We're
other
moving
time.
on to shows now. We're done
Yeah,
with
we're
movies.
done with
Yeah, we're
Movies.
done with movies.
Yes.
Also,
So-
just last note, this is not a 3-hour movie, so you guys should watch it.
True. I think
I'm
it's an
sorry.
easier watch.
on the defense of my 3-hour very depressive black and white movie, look at the ratings for Judgment at Nuremberg.
I'm actually
Please
curious.
do.
Okay, fine.
I was so surprised to see that I was not the only mad person who enjoyed that movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, thank you very much.
93.
3%
I don't
Rotten
think
Tomatoes.
any-
Do you also
Yeah.
use Rotten Tomatoes your go-to?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If it's 93 on Rotten Tomatoes,
I'm gonna
where
watch it
people
tonight.
shit talk constantly.
That's
But Rotten Tomato, to be honest, gives very real reviews of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
like I trust Rotten Tomato.
93%. I would like to defend my 3-hour black and white. Probably put you on depression in this Groningen weather.
No, you definitely already defended it.
Yeah.
I do want to watch it.
I'm assuming this is not on Netflix.
No.
Okay.
So,
Okay, is it my turn?
yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna talk about How to Get Away with Murder, and I want to preface this with a disclaimer, saying that I've only watched about 4 or 5 episodes of this, because I needed to find something to watch for this podcast that wasn't Suits, because Shemek's gonna talk about Suits. So that's my disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
And after saying that, I'm gonna say I didn't like it.
How many episodes did you watch again?
4 or 5.
It's 4 or 5 more
Okay.
than I watched.
I didn't watch it, but
I think personally it got better throughout the season.
Okay.
Probably why.
Okay. I'm
But-
probably not gonna give it that chance, but that's
understandable.
okay. I'm about to talk about why I didn't like it though, and keep in mind that I'm kind of comparing this to Suits, but I'm also just like giving my opinion. I mean, first of all, they do law school in the U.S. in the movie, and we do law school here in Europe, so it's very different. But I do think that the way they portray law school in this movie is also quite unrealistic with how much time. Like, I'm not gonna spoil the plot of this show at all because I barely know the plot. So. But they spend very little time in class and a lot of time at the firm of this professor. They also get hired at this professor's firm after like a week, which is not realistic.
I'm sorry, I want that.
I want that.
you know what
I
this reminds
don't.
me of?
Where's
you
my
know,
internship?
you know the really cheap Nickelodeon shows?
There are a lot. Which
There's a
ones?
lot.
Yeah.
No, like you know,
There are a
there's
lot.
always this one crazy professor and like some students around them, and then somehow they always work with the professor. This just gives me that.
Yeah, that's fair. So they get hired at her firm after like a week, which is what? Like she lets them in like directly into murder cases from day one. That's not real.
Yeah, you guys learned actus reus and mens rea. Here's a complicated murder you should solve.
Oh yeah, they go through actus reus and mens rea within the first 5 minutes of the first episode of the show, and then 10 minutes later they're all at a crime scene. Yeah.
That was
Did
quick.
they commit the crime? I forgot. And
No,
right?
so
Not this one.
that's the next thing I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
It becomes clear from the moment you start watching that this group of law students murdered someone.
Yeah.
But the show keeps jumping from current time to when they murdered this person 3 months later.
Yeah.
So there's constant jump cuts between now and in 3 months.
Oh
and
God, I don't like
the
that.
current time keeps going up towards the 3 months later
That's
mark.
too much for my
So
autism.
I'm now on episode
Yeah.
4, and it says like 7 weeks earlier.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's confusing as hell. I'm gonna be so real.
Yeah. I remember watching this and I was like, wait, did
Yeah,
I just
what's
skip
going
like
on?
4 seasons? I don't know.
Oh, this is giving Riverdale.
It is. It is.
Riverdale.
It's kind of giving
Oh
Riverdale.
my god.
The upsetting part is that Shonda Rhimes wrote this show, and she also wrote Grey's Anatomy and Bridgerton, which is really upsetting
Bridgerton.
because I love Bridgerton. She's done so many good things. I hate this show. So that's really, really exhausting. And then there are also, in my opinion, too many different plots within one episode. So we have the main plot, which is them solving murder cases with this woman who's a character on her own. I'm not going to talk too much about her because I'm wrong about that, and that's fine. But like, there's the main arc, which is like them solving the murder cases, and then every single character, it feels like in every single episode, there's a side plot with every single individual character. That's too many timelines at once. And then they also keep jumping back and forth between 3 months later and now. It's stressful. It's stressful to watch. I can't keep up. I can't keep up.
That's too much.
Yeah.
That sounds like a little too much.
Yeah, I think they should stick to like maybe 1 or 2 individual timelines and also the main timeline in one episode. But they're like everyone has something going on.
It's really too many timelines for me.
This is
Yeah.
Riverdale. It's
It is.
sealed.
It's too much, I
But,
think.
but even Riverdale was like not bad in the first season or
Yeah,
two.
no.
Oh, first season of Riverdale is good. I liked it.
Even the second one was not bad, but then the third one, I think they started inventing stuff and it got
Yeah.
No, it got
Yeah.
really weird when it became a musical.
What?
Well,
At some
I only
anything
watched
goes.
one
Riverdale,
season.
at some
Yeah, there
point
was musical
Riverdale became
episodes,
musical.
yeah.
I think it got weird when it got too supernatural.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't come to that.
Yeah. That's when it got real weird.
There was a really weird. At some point, I don't know what they were trying to do, but like they fast forwarded the show by 20 years. but they didn't.
Is this Riverdale?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but they didn't age. But they didn't age any of the actors. So like you had Archie, who was he's
Still
like
wearing that
20,
beanie.
20, and then he was suddenly 40, and he didn't change at all. Not even like an additional stretch mark on his face.
Stretch
Botox.
mark. You talking about wrinkles right now?
Wrinkles, my bad. The only way they made us, they let them know was like one of the characters. They made one of the characters pregnant, and they were like, yeah, okay, so this is 20 years later. We're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To defend How to Get Away with Murder, it is certainly an exciting show to watch. I just don't think it's exciting if you're watching it for the law aspect of it.
Yeah, I feel like
Because
it's more
you,
criminal.
I personally, I just got too annoyed by the law aspect of it.
Understandable.
Because the law aspect of it is also not realistic. They keep like in Suits, they definitely cross lines with the law all the time, like all the time. They're constantly doing stuff that's like kind of ooh.
Yeah.
But I feel like in Suits, they always say, ooh, we're not supposed to do that. Ooh, that's perjury.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's blah blah blah.
Exactly.
In this show, they just do it. They don't even mention it. They just like break the law constantly.
And I feel like
And no one seems to have an issue with it, and they never get caught. In the first episode,
But don't you see How to Get Away with Murder?
She really
Well,
wrote on
true.
the board how to get away with murder.
yeah, she really did, and she meant it. But
She did.
But it like in the first episode, the main attorney, Annalise Keating, takes a detective, puts a detective on the stand to like ask him about something, and she interrogates him on the stand using information that she only knows because they're sleeping together because she's cheating on her husband.
I remember. It
This
was.
is-
And like that's like first episode right out the gate.
what happened to the prohibition of self-incrimination, guys?
Exactly.
Well, he answers obviously, and he's not incriminating himself, but it ends up with him being on probation from his job because like his boss got mad at him for like exposing his
and this is
department.
impartiality as well.
Isn't that information that the court should know that that they have some sort of relationship between them?
Yeah,
I think they
exactly.
should.
That's what I mean. It's
But
the
that's
personal
European
relationship
court.
between them.
Americans don't really care.
Americans have weird courts, guys.
Yeah.
The fact that they lost me at the fact that they have a jury already.
Americans
And
have a lot of
I also have an issue with like the legal aspect in terms of everything just seems too easy. Like somehow one of the cases, it turns out that a guy who's on trial for murdering his wife fully also murdered his first wife under a different identity, and he still gets off.
What?
Yeah.
Because this professor is like defending this guy.
Yeah. The professor is also a practicing lawyer.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she defends this guy,
Uh-huh.
and he gets away with it.
Oh, every time she defends someone for murder, they get away. Every time.
Wow.
The more
Yeah.
you talk about it, the less I'm like sticking with the plot right now. Because what the heck? How many murder were there? Do you remember?
I don't really want to watch this.
Hey,
to be honest.
I've watched 4 episodes now. There's been at least like 4 different cases
Okay.
of
Why did I watch
That's a
that?
lot.
Guys, we're out here
I
making people
also-
question whether
I'm
to watch.
like questioning my decision.
I think there are too many stereotypes in this show.
Like
I think the law students that they portray in the show were very like stereotypical. There's one that's like idealistically in it, and there's like one who's in it for the money and for the like prestige and everything. And then there's one who has like a chip on her shoulder constantly. And yeah, I don't know. The characters are very not likable. I think.
Especially Bonnie. I just remember not liking Bonnie. This woman.
Maybe she comes in later.
Oh, I
Never
do
mind.
kind of like her, but that's only because I'm also currently watching Gilmore Girls.
Oh, she's in
And
it.
she was
right?
she was in it.
Yeah.
And her character in Gilmore Girls is made out to be unlikable, but she kind of slays. So
And we love that. We love that.
I support a woman's wrongs, except in this show.
I watched Downton Abbey, guys. Like
Yeah, and so comparing it to Suits, I just think that Suits is a better show to watch for the legal aspect of it. I think it's more balanced. I think this one's very like it goes. I think this is interesting to watch if you're watching it for the drama and the murder of it.
I think that's
it's
what probably
not
what
really
most people
chaos.
watch it for.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. But like they like kind of pitch it as a law show because like the central thing of it is this like law class.
So they should
And
get
the
the law
class is
aspect
also
right.
conducted in a very unrealistic way. Like, what are they really learning? Here?
Can I just say one thing that it instilled in me is cold calling, the fear of cold calling, like in law
Oh, yeah.
school.
We
Thank
don't do
God
that
we don't
here.
do
what's
that.
the
It's like
They
when the
randomly
professor
select
picks
you.
to
Like you're in a
answer.
working group and they're like, Darren, you're gonna answer this one now.
Yeah.
Except they do that in lecture.
Yeah, with like
Imagine if
500
they did
people.
that in lecture with 300 people.
They cold called us on some lecture. I forgot what it was, but
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
And I was in a criminal lecture. Guys, don't do this. I was doing the Wordle in the front row, and then they were asking some question. I only heard the end, and I just saw the person point at me, and I was like,
That was your bad for sitting in the front.
Yeah.
Why would you
literally.
sit in the front?
because
You
I
know
hear
when
because I hear the lecturer the best.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
know
I'm a bit
what's
deaf.
The worst, like when the professor peeks at your laptop.
They
do
don't
They
do
did
that
that.
for
In,
us.
they did that in legal history.
In the lecture.
in
But
the
they're
middle
in
of the
front,
lecture,
we're in the
in the very front, and then saw the girls scrolling through Pinterest. That
Oh,
was
especially
great.
with the legal history lecture, you're
Oh, yeah.
you're cooked there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but getting back on topic.
Yeah, I think they get away with breaking the law too much in this show for it to be a viable show for a law student to watch.
It's
be
like
honest.
psychological thriller, but like psychological in the sense that it gives you a headache because there's so many things going on at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we don't watch it.
No. Nexus podcast does not
Unfortunately.
recommend How to Get Away with Murder, guys.
Unfortunately. I mean, if anyone loves it, like, go ahead.
What's the
enjoy
Rotten
it, but, like,
Tomatoes
I
for
don't.
this one?
For How to Get Away with Murder? 85. Well, I always look at. Is it? Do you
Mine's
look at
80.
tomato meter or do you look at the popcorn meter?
I don't know, it's like right here.
Oh, that's the okay. So that's the by the critics. Critics say give it 88, and the audience gives it an 85.
It's like not
Okay, so
bad.
everyone loves it. And that's fine.
I remember liking it. I just
I'm
don't
okay
know
with
why.
that.
I'm okay with not agreeing with the major public. That's okay with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. And I also don't like the main character, Annalise Keating.
Annalise.
And apparently I'm just wrong about that because the list of awards she has received is like this long for that character alone.
Yeah, but that doesn't
So-
mean you have to like a character just because they have awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think she like in my opinion, this gets better throughout the show because there's
Yeah.
like what 6 seasons or something.
That's too many.
It's a
I think
lot.
she overplays it a little bit.
She does.
Who has time
She
for
does.
6?
Thank you. You agree? Oh,
Apparently
makes me
I
feel better.
did. So
I mean, no, I think everyone had that time back
Yeah.
in like what high school.
yeah, I feel like the more you know about law and like the legal field, the less you'll like the show
Yeah.
because you're like, this
and
is
I
so.
feel like that
unrealistic.
might be the case about Suits as well.
Really, I've not finished.
I think so. I think so as well. But also,
But I still like Suits better.
I still enjoy Suits, even though I know a lot about law. Maybe it's because also they deal with other types of law. Are we going into Suits now then? Is
I
it-
think
Yes,
we're
I
moving
think
on
we're
to
moving
position.
on.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so-
think I'm done.
Sorry,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so for the few who haven't seen Suits, I'm gonna give like a really, really quick description of it. Is basically there's this guy Mike, and he's super, super gifted, but he's a college dropout. I'm not gonna tell you why he's a college dropout, but he's a college dropout, and one day he stumbles into an interview into a very prestigious law firm. What were they called at that point? Because that name changed. Like, they were
Pearson
called
Spector Hardman.
No, they weren't called Spectre. At that Pearson and Hardman. At that point, they were Pearson and Hardman. So he stumbles into an interview, and he amazes one of their best lawyers with his really, really great memorization and legal skills, and he takes him in as an associate into the law firm.
Okay.
And
He's a college dropout.
he's a college
Why
dropout.
was he a college dropout?
I think this isn't a big spoiler. So he's a very, very gifted person, and he went to law school. But while he was
No,
in
he
law,
didn't go to law school. He's a dropout because he sold his answers to a math test to a girl in
to the
college.
and she was the dean's daughter.
And she was the
I
dean's
remember.
daughter, so he got kicked out of college.
Ouch.
And then he also, this is stuff that you learn in the first episode, he also takes the LSAT for other people because he has a photographic memory. So he like fakes identity and takes the LSAT for other people so that they can get into law school. Yeah,
He's-
and that's why he stumbles into this interview and like actually can do anything because he knows everything about law essentially.
This
from
is
just taking
this
the
is also
LSAT.
in the first episode, but the reason he's in the interview in the first place is because he hangs out with his friend who's a huge pothead, and he sets up a drug deal for him. But and this is how you know that he has great analytical skills. He's in a hotel and he's supposed to sell the weed. He has it in a briefcase, and he spots 2 cops that are undercover, and he runs away from them and he hides from them by going into the interview. He pretends he's someone else who was supposed to be there for the interview. He goes in and like he amazes Harvey, that's the guy, that's the lawyer's name, with his amazing analytical skills. Like he literally remembers it was a Burberry legal handbook, I think it was called. He memorizes the whole book. His memory is insane.
Yeah.
And I think personally that this show is very good legally. I think unlike in How to Get Away with Murder, I think that the plot is done in a way in which you can follow it very well, because there is a main storyline of like Harvey and Mike working together to hide the fact that Mike is a fraud and he hasn't passed the LSAT, he hasn't gone to law school, because the legal firm that he works for only hires from Harvard, and he hasn't gone to Harvard or any law school for that matter. So the entire first couple of like a good amount of episodes are dedicated to, you have the main plot, which is them trying to hide the fact that he did go to Harvard when he didn't, and they do so many things to conceive this. And then you also have these side plots, which have like every episode, there's like a different case that they're working on. And I think it's very good because throughout the seasons, you can see how Mike develops as a person. Because at the beginning, he has the photographic memory, but he's also very hasty. He rushes into things. And with each episode, with each case he does under Harvey, you can kind of see him grow. So that's what I really, really like about the show. They also do a very good job of the character creation, in my opinion. The characters you want to like, you will like. And the characters that the show doesn't want you to like, you will not like them. But at the same time, for example, okay, Lois. I personally like Lois. I think he's a misunderstood character. But the show does a very good job of making it seem in certain episodes, even after they really, really did their best to make you hate them, there are certain moments in which you really feel for them. There's this episode where, from what I remember, Mike stops being Harvey's associate and he transfers to Lewis. And Lewis is very, very happy about that. And at the end of the episode, Mike and Harvey make up, and you can see the scene of them being in the office, and there's like the office is all glass, and Lewis is watching it. He comes in with a cake that said like, "Welcome Mike to like Team Lit," and he sees the thing, and you can see him like that really, really upset him. And like, even though he's such an unlikable character at moments, that scene really, really made me feel for him. And I was like, even though you can be, I'm not going to use the word I'm about to use, but even though you can be very unlikable, it really resonated with me. It was almost like he got cheated on, to be honest, to some extent. That's what the scene felt like.
I've watched all, how many seasons are there of Suits? Like 9 or something? 8 or 9 seasons?
There's a lot, and there's 2 spin-offs now.
Yeah.
2
I've
spin-offs.
watched all 9 seasons
yeah.
of Suits at least twice, probably 3 or 4 times. And I will say Louis Litt is a character that you will start liking at the end of the show, like towards the later seasons, you'll start liking Louis more. And then if you go back then and watch the first few episodes, the first few seasons, you understand way more of like where he's coming from in the first few seasons. So he's a really, really well done character.
I agree with that.
Really, really impressive. So like a Suits connoisseur, if you will, appreciates Louis. A newbie to Suits is like, oh my God, fuck this guy, you know? And like, yeah, fair. For a lot of the stuff he does, fuck this guy. Like, what are we doing? But he's really, really interesting. Who would you say is your favorite character?
That's so hard because, okay, I have been personally compared by my friends. I don't know. I don't see the looks, but I have been told that I look like Mike. I personally don't think I look like Mike. You can look what he looks like after this. And
right here.
I do have I do have very good memory. So people have told me that I have like Mike's memory. It's not nearly as good, but I don't think Mike is my favorite character. I think Donna is a very well done character. And for a fact that she is not even a lawyer, I love every single one of her appearances on the show. She
Then what
brings
is
she's Harvey's personal secretary.
Okay.
And she is the Harvey is the only partner, I think, who has a personal secretary. And
No, they all have a personal secretary.
yeah, but
they're just not given that role that she is.
exactly. That's okay. Well, that's what I meant. And the backstory of her meeting Harvey is so good. I love it so much. When they met at a bar once, and like, she convinced him to hire her in such a good, kind of sneaky, manipulative way. But also, she brings so much good, sassy energy to the show. I just love her attitude and everything. And also, I feel like this is a spoiler, but also it's kind of obvious to me, it was obvious from the first few episodes of the show. Like, you can feel it.
Don't spoil anything.
Wait,
Please
isn't
don't spoil
Suits
anything.
Where Meghan Markle plays?
Yes.
Yes.
And you said you did not like her in the show?
No, I said I didn't
said
like her.
because-
Yeah,
There are moments where I feel like she just acts a bit privileged. I think she's a very
That's because she is.
I think she's very smart.
Like,
I think she's very in the show. Her character. I don't know about how smart Meghan Markle is. I don't know her personally.
I mean,
But her name
Shocker.
her name on the show is Rachel Zane.
Yeah.
And her father is a very, very well known and respected lawyer, Robert Zane. And I feel like her character throughout the show also undergoes major changes, obviously. But there are just moments in which I find her very annoying, especially because her and Mike You'll also feel this from the very first episode. There
Oh
is
yeah, that's not a spoiler.
there
I
is
get it.
there is energy between them, and they obviously like each other. But there are episodes where, like, I'm just gonna say, I feel like she just acts like a straight up asshole to him for no reason.
I think you have to kind of think about her past when you say that, because like she's been a paralegal in a really high level law firm for years and years and years, and Mike is just another like douchebag associate that comes in and thinks he's the hot shit, you know? And like in the first episode, I think he tries to pawn off his work on her. Immediately he goes like, "Oh, I don't know how to do this. Can you do this for me?" Like, she's allowed to be a bitch because like she's a paralegal. She's twice as smart as like half of the associates in there at least.
That's true.
And they all constantly try to pawn off their work on her because she's a paralegal. And like that's why she acts like a bitch, because like her experience tells her that that's the only thing she can do. One of the first things she says to Mike is, "Great, you've already hit on me. I'm not interested. We can get that out of the way. Let's move on."
Spoiler alert, in the end she does end up being interested.
I mean, it's always like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when she says that, Mike's like, I was okay. I wasn't okay. Yeah, it's so good. The first episode alone is
Yeah, it's really good.
I love the show.
Okay, but according to you guys, which season is the best? Because 9 is.
Honestly, I don't know.
Because I'm like reading and it's like people are saying season 2 is the best.
I don't think I can pick a season, to be honest.
No, I don't think I can pick a
No.
season either.
It's all so interlinked with each other that one
Yeah.
season on its own can't stand out for me. They're too interlinked with each other.
Yeah.
But also, okay, I will say this as like honorable mention of a good character. I love Harold. He's just such a fun, goofy
Harold.
character. So
Yeah.
he's an associate, but he's
I
so
love the name Harold.
he's so clueless and he's so cute and adorable. And
Can I
I'm
see
pretty sure
Harold?
he gets fired by Lewis for a while, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or like he gets accused of like being a mole in the firm. He looks so scared. The fear on his face made me feel so bad for him.
He's so useless, but he's so cute.
Is this
I
him?
know.
He is cute.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's him.
He's really cute.
I will say a really, really solid character is also Samantha Wheeler. She slays.
What would you say is your most disliked character?
Me?
Yeah.
That's hard.
I think I have an obvious one and a less obvious one. I don't actually know if the
I
second
think
one.
Hardman, to be honest.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Daniel Hardman.
Daniel Hardman. Oh my god,
He's
that bitch.
he's such an.
But I
awful
will also
character.
say I have some dislike for Rachel's dad as well,
You don't like Robert.
Robert Zane. No, he keeps making the same mistakes. Like he's definitely like a stereotypical, very overprotective dad, and maybe that's just why I don't like him. Because like his daughter has like made real effort to make a name for herself since the beginning. Like for context, he's the head of a law firm, a different, really high-powered law firm,
Zane
and she
something.
chooses to. Yeah, he's a name partner at a different law firm, and she chooses to not work in his law firm, but she goes somewhere else because she doesn't want to be just like his daughter. And he's still super overprotective of her. Like he shows many times throughout the seasons that like he doesn't really believe in her legal capacity as a lawyer and as a paralegal. She becomes a lawyer after a while. Like and that's just really, it's frustrating because it keeps happening over and over again. And I guess that's realistic because like that's how overprotective fathers act.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But it's really frustrating. It's like really, like she's proven herself so many times. I'm joking.
It's like almost he doesn't believe that she's capable of like
yeah,
being
absolutely.
a lawyer. Okay,
Yeah.
second character that I don't like. I don't think he's as major, but I don't like Trevor.
Who's that?
Oh yeah.
Trevor is
This man.
Mike's roommate,
Yeah.
and he has
a very small role in the show. To be
yes,
fair.
but he's on a constant mission to constantly bring Mike down. He's the one who nearly gets him caught with the cops in the very first episode because he's the one who sets up the drug deal.
Oh, okay.
And then also,
Oh, he's the pothead.
yes, he's the yes,
drug dealer. If you
drug dealer. And then later he serves a much more major role. I don't think this is a really spoiler because I'll try to say as generally as I can.
He just comes back to haunt Mike
He
later in the show, and it's
Oh, okay, so
testifies
it's like
he
that-
testifies against him in a very pivotal moment for Mike,
Yeah.
where like it's actually found out that he's a fraudster.
Okay,
And-
but like, what does he gain from it from doing that?
Nothing, because
Trevor comes back multiple times to haunt Mike. I think.
I think that's
and
the most
every
significant
time,
one though.
it's very obvious that it's all just predicated on him just being really jealous of Mike.
This is like that one character.
Didn't
in
he also
movies,
steal his
like-
girlfriend? He stole
Yeah,
his.
there's a like drama there.
Yeah, this is like that one character in these kind of movies where the protagonist kind of changes character. I mean, I guess life, and everything, and then there's always this one thing that's like, you know, stuck under the piece of a piece of shit under his shoe that always comes back.
Yeah, there are a couple characters from his old life that come back to haunt him throughout the show. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, they play it out really well in the show, where you actually start fearing for the whole like multiple times throughout the show. You're like, oh my god, this is the end. He's gonna get caught. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then by some miracle, like, he doesn't get caught in the end, after all. We shouldn't say any more than that to not spoil the whole arc of the show. But I will say one of my favorite things about Suits that is good compared to How to Get Away with Murder, and that I've also heard lawyers say about Suits, because a lot of lawyers criticize Suits because it's unrealistic. Of course it's unrealistic. Come on.
It's a show.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But what they say is realistic is that the show actually focuses a lot on interpersonal things and, like, the coworkers and, like, who's doing, like,
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
on workplace
and
dynamics.
it's not, like, entirely just, like, case-based. And they say that that is realistic because as a lawyer, you have a regular job, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, most of your time is spent, like, in your office, doing paperwork, talking to your coworkers. Like, you have a life. Like, you talk to people, like, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they're not just
Yeah.
constantly in the courtroom, and
Of
they're
course.
not in Suits. There's tons of interpersonal drama. Like, it's a very well-rounded show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too,
It's like,
like
are we at rolling 20%?
yeah.
True.
I will close off by saying one thing. Everyone, this is, I don't know if it's that relevant to the legal aspect, but this is about the character's looks. Everyone says that Meghan Markle's character is the best looking character on the show. I disagree.
Agreed.
I disagree with that very strongly. I think
disagree.
Dana Scott is the
Really?
best looking woman on this show. And I also believe that I ship her and Harvey. I believe that she and Harvey would have also made such a powerful duo. They would have been the it power couple of the legal world. I said what
That's
I said.
fair. That's fair. But Harvey's not ready for that.
Yeah,
so clear.
I think, but I also think everyone knew who Harvey was gonna end up with, and like they were
Yeah.
making it very obvious.
And that's where we end that. We can't spoil that.
Yeah, we can't say
Okay.
any more than that, guys.
No.
Can I do an honorable mention for a show?
Yes.
Better Call Saul.
We should have discussed.
I
But
should
don't
have done
you?
it.
But don't
You have to watch
need
Breaking Bad
I do
to
have
kind
to
of
watch
get it,
Breaking
yeah.
Bad to understand the lore.
But also
That
Break-
sounds like a mountain. I'm not gonna
It
do
does. But Breaking Bad is amazing. That's a different story. I love
Did
it.
you know you have rights? The Constitution says so.
I love you, Saul.
Well, in short, as you can see, guys, from our little review, the
But
one
please
show,
watch movies that do not have anything to do with law.
that
like-
we do not recommend from here is How to Get Away with Murder. It gives you headaches.
Yeah.
It's not legally realistic, but the Nuremberg Trials movie, Legally Blonde, and Suits, absolutely give them a watch.
Yeah.
I don't know when we will catch you next time. We will see. But until then, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and we will catch you all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.